In this video, I will be talking about Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion actually deals with the behavior of objects for which all forces are not balanced. That means it deals with objects which are affected by unbalanced forces. The result of unbalanced forces is acceleration of the object. Thus, the second law states that the acceleration of an object is dependent upon two variables, that is the net force acting upon the object and the mass of the object. Thus, we can further state the second law, Newton's second law, as follows. That is, the acceleration of an object as produced by a net force is directly proportional to the magnitude of the net force in the same direction as the net force and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. That is, A is equal to F net divided by M, where A is the acceleration, F net is the net force, M is the mass. This formula can be written in a better format, that is, F net is equal to Ma. That is, the total net force acting on the object is given by the product of mass of the body and acceleration. Thus, from this formula, we can define the unit of force, Newton, as the force required to accelerate an object of mass 1 kilogram by 1 meter per second squared. That is 1 Newton. Now we can see this is a table. On this table, an object of mass m is kept. The forces acting on this object are, this is the normal force. Then there is the gravitational force. When this object is at rest, F gravitation is equal to Fn. But when we apply force to this object, that is F, then the object, there is a force of friction being exerted at the interface between this object and the table. So these are the four forces that are acting on this object of mass m. So the net, if the body moves, then the net force in the direction of F app, that is F net is toward the right side. The acceleration of the direction of acceleration of this body is also in the direction of the F net. This is what the Newton's second law states. Now, momentum. Momentum refers to the quantity of motion that an object has. That is, every object which is in motion has got this property known as momentum. The amount of momentum that an object has is dependent upon two variables, that is how much stuff, which is mass of the body, and how fast it is moving, which is the velocity of the body. Hence, momentum is given by this formula, that is, momentum is the product of mass and velocity of the object. It is also a vector quantity, and its direction is same as that of the velocity vector. The rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the applied force. That is, force is directly proportional to the change in momentum. So, Newton's second law of motion can be expressed as force proportional to change in momentum divided by time taken. That is, F is proportional to P2 minus P1 by T, where P2 and P2 minus P1 gives the change in momentum over time T. We can substitute for P2 mv, where v is the final velocity, and for P1 mu, where u is the initial velocity. Here, substituting for v minus u by t is equal to a, that is acceleration, and by putting the constant of proportionality, we get F is equal to k into product of the constant of proportionality, the mass, and the acceleration of the object. From the definition of Newton, as I had given earlier, the value of k becomes 1. Since 1 Newton is the force required to move a object of mass m with an acceleration of 1 meters per second square. Hence, F is equal to ma is the second law of motion. Hence, it is proven that force is proportional to change in momentum by time taken, which gives the second law of motion. Now, momentum and impulse connection. What do you mean by impulse? Impulse is a term that quantifies the overall effect of a force acting over time. It is given by the product of force acting on the body for a given duration of time t. Now, by Newton's second law, we have got force is equal to the product of mass and acceleration. Now, substituting the value of acceleration is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time, we get F is equal to m into v minus u by t. That is, if we interchange, that is, put t towards the left side, we get ft is equal to mv minus mu. mv is the final momentum and mu is the initial momentum, and ft is impulse. Hence, we get impulse is equal to change in moment. In this equation, that is ft is equal to mv minus mu. For if force is equal to 0, then v is equal to u, which is the first law of motion, which states that a body continues to be in a state of rest or of uniform motion unless an outside force is applied to the object. This is the end of this video. Thus, I have covered some important points concerning Newton's second law of motion. Okay, if you have got any doubts, feel free to comment in the section below this video.